Welcome back, team. Today we're talking to an Aussie who is currently playing in the WNBA. I'm very lucky to have a young icon of the women's game chatting with me. And boy, do we have so much to talk about. So it's going to be an exciting one. Let's dive right into it. I'm going to go through some of her accomplishments first, and we're going to see if you can guess who this is. So, of course, number one, superstar. So she was at Virginia Tech from 2020 to 2024, where she became the program's all-time assist leader with 656. She finished her time at Virginia Tech ranked third in scoring and second in three-pointers made. So she's an offensive threat, that's for sure. She recorded the first triple-double in Virginia Tech history in 2022 with 24 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. Not too shabby at all. And she set the single game program record with 16 assists. So, she's a great facilitator playmaker. So she led the Hokies to their first ACC tournament title in 2023 and was named the tournament MVP. She also received all ACC honors in 2023 and 2024. And in her senior season, she averaged almost 19 points and 7 assists a game, ranking first in the ACC and fourth nationally in assists per game. She also recorded 9 double-doubles, and for a point guard, that's not bad at all, and scored 20-plus points in 16 games. So this amazing player then transferred in her final year of eligibility to the University of Kentucky for the 2024-2025 season. She led the SEC in assists and steals per game. She broke Kentucky's single-season record for assists with 213. She was named the SEC Newcomer of the Year and earned first All-Sec honors. With such a successful college career, she was nationally recognized and was a finalist for several national awards. And one major historical significance that she has is that she stands alongside Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu as the only D1 players in women's history with 2,300 points and 800 assists. So that is great company to be a part of, and it shows that her future is damn bright. She then entered the WNBA draft, and she was the 6th overall pick to the Washington Mystics. And if that didn't give it away, I don't know what has. Guys, if you haven't guessed it yet, my special guest is Georgia Amoore. Let's give her a round of applause. G, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're fresh out of surgery. You were just talking about how, your hair was a little crazy. You're here, there, and everywhere. So I appreciate your time and coming on today.
Of course, I appreciate you having me.
So there's lots been happening in your world. I've just hyped a girl up. I've spoken about some of your, college career moments, your standout pieces. And I think I want to go a bit back to the start of that. And I want to know what made you decide to go to college rather than, hey, maybe stay here, play in the WNBL or, go overseas.
Yeah, I think I was kind of that age group where it was like kind of not weird to go to college, but it definitely wasn't like the route to
Yeah.
take, I think. And I think, in all honesty, I think like I was with you at the Rangers as like a development player, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. Like I was just like so young. I knew either way I was going to get developed, but I think just the opportunity to come over here and travel was huge for me. And I was just big in that mode of just like, let me leave home, like let me grow up.
Yeah.
And just like going over here, and in hindsight, like it worked out great for me. I know everyone's path is different. But I think I was just excited to just go overseas and like have the college life. I think that was like the most exciting thing that stood out to me. And I know it doesn't always work out for everyone. And if you stay home and successful, that's great. But I think I definitely made the most out of the situation I was put in, because to call a spade, Virginia Tech was not a great school when I got there. And we turned it into something good. So
Well, you should. I was listing your achievements, and like you should be beyond proud because like I got tired. It was a lengthy one, but yeah, to go to a place. Yeah, Virginia Tech was the first college you were at. Tell us a bit about your college experience because you should be impressed. Like you've, taken a place, a club, or organization, a school, and really like made it something different. And I guess put it in the history books for what it's known. So, like, tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was so long and like honestly, so much shit happened because of COVID. But it was like the rear end was amazing. So like my freshman sophomore year, like I wasn't really I played so different because and I loved being Australian because I think we play hard, we play tough.
Hmm.
Like it's don't give a shit about fouls. Like we're such great teammates. But in the American system, that just wasn't working for me because I had to become more used to like the one on ones, the not playing defense the way that we play defense, and
Yeah.
um, that was a huge adjustment for me. And then during freshman year, COVID happened, so I couldn't go home. We were kind of in a bubble, kind of not. And then by my junior year, I just turned a corner. I don't know if it was the maturity or me just like being in it enough that it just clicked. I got used to
Hmm.
it. And then that year, we went to a Final Four, won an ACC championship. And then it's just from there, it just exploded. Like I feel like once I got to the Final Four, that's when I put myself in a good position to make the most out of it. Like, could have very well still gone both ways, but I was getting the attention, um,
Yeah.
and definitely made the most of it. But I think just every single year being in Virginia and then my fifth year in Kentucky, the one thing that I would always tell myself is like, I could be home. Like, if I was going to half ass it, I could be home. Like,
Exactly.
why am I in rural Virginia? Literally be at home playing with my family, with my people. But I think just like the desire and the push, like just being on a campus like that, you have nothing else to do but to party and to play basketball. So it was
Yeah.
like, what was my attention and focus going to go to?
Yeah.
And then even in general, like overall, we want to talk about like the NIL stuff. I feel like the time I was in college was like a build up to just explosion. Like that final
Yeah.
four that I went to turned a corner for women's basketball because it was the classic Caitlin Angel Final Four. Like
Hmm.
just to see that explode and then like reap the benefits of that and the NIL and the exposure and the social media, and now it's like you're a business. Like you are an athlete, but you are a person in a business, and you are marketing.
Yeah.
So it's just been insane to see how like just the growth of it all, just to be a part of it, has been unreal. Like that's the biggest takeaway from my years.
I will say I'm so happy to see that obviously women's sport is growing. Like Australia, we're still behind, but in America, like the NIL stuff is like I'm low key jealous that I'm not 20 and like starting to go into college because girls are making money, but also like able to set themselves up if you do it correctly,
Yes.
like the men have, and it's like, wow, the fact that's even possible. Whoa.
You have to do it correctly because I know for like I just was just around people who, and I'm gonna be so real. It's in USD, but it's six figures.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these girls end up buying Birkins or they have like their Louis bags. I'm like, that's fine. Treat yourself like you're working hard, but put that away, invest it because you can buy like a house,
Yeah.
anything, like retire. So it's blessing and a curse because they give you all that money, but they don't teach you how to use it. They don't teach you about taxes. So
Right,
it's
that's the stuff we need to learn in school.
exactly.
Anyway, so then in your final year in college, you transferred to Kentucky. What was that move about? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was at a stage where I could have declared, but like once again, I knew that I had one extra year where I was like, all right, I can literally get better from this. Like,
Yeah.
I like to throw myself in the deep end. I followed my head coach who took the job to Kentucky. I thought it was in a more athletic conference. The SEC is tough. I was going to have to prove myself and prove myself with brand new teammates in a rebuild program, just like really throwing myself in there and just picking up where I like left off from.
Yeah.
Um, and I was probably crazy for thinking that, but I did it. So I can't have any regrets about that. And I do think I put myself in a better position draft wise. Like everything kind of college was definitely draft oriented because, once you get drafted, that's great. But it's like that again opens up so many opportunities. So it's like everything in college was definitely pro next level. I need to do this. I need to get used to this. I'm going to take this year to work on recovery and rehab, which
Hmm.
things happen, but at least I know how my body reacts to things now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a
Positives.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just spoke about your head coach, Kenny Brooks. So What is your relationship? Because I can tell you probably like still talking to the man. He was such a big part of your career. Can you explain a little bit like how important that relationship is to you?
Yeah, it means the world to me because he had like so much belief in me from the get go when I didn't even see it myself, and it never wavered. But I think the biggest thing for me, like I touched on before, with my freshman and sophomore year during COVID, I'm not going home. Like he was like that like parental figure for me. Like I'm so
Mhm.
far away from home. He like took me in, um, made me feel comfortable and like focused enough that I could continue on with the basketball. Because it's tough when you're in that
Yeah.
situation where it's like your head's not where your body at, and that like both of them take a toll. So I think he's just meant a lot to me because every single good thing, bad thing, you know, even like he was the first person I called when I did my knee. Like
Hmm.
he's just always my first point of contact because he's just meant so much to me in my career and he's opened up so many doors for me.
Oh, and I love that. And I think it's so important that you do have, as you get older, you realize, I guess, who your real friends are and who are there for you when, the time is hard. And it's so great that you have someone, and we've all been there as a player, a coach who has that belief, because that honestly is a literal game changer. So I'm like so glad you had a person like that and still in your life throughout your career. I think it's bloody beautiful. But he's probably a big part of it, but why do you think you had such a successful college career?
Yeah, I think just kind of it sounds cliche, but remembering where I came from, like
Hmm.
once again, I could have gone home, but
Yeah,
it's like so many people, and like that's why I love basketball and team sports because so many people pour so much support into you that it's like I'm here, I might as well make the most of it. Like I love it, I love basketball, but I do love the extra push I get from the people around me, and
yeah.
it's just like you think about the freaking every Sunday where you had tour days in Traralgon, 2 hour sessions, and it's just like my parents didn't need to drive 3 hours like every weekend, but they did. So it
Uh-huh.
like they didn't have to drive me to MSAC on a Friday night to play VJ and then drive, me back home and I'm on the bus to a Seagull game on Saturday. Like it's all the effort and the memories of that I was like, no, it's what builds you. It's what makes you like get here. So it's like I have the world at my feet right now. I know America. To me, like being in Australia, like the team, the sisterhood, I loved that. But America, it had glimpses of that. But it's like you're a brand, you have opportunities. You're
Yeah,
like when you start realizing that, you start making the most of it. You're like, oh, I'm setting myself up. Like and you get to college, and I'm not gonna lie, things just get handed to you.
yeah,
You get the free shoes, you get the 24/7 facility, you get the weight program. So it's like I feel like if you're not improving in those situations, it's you. It really is
yeah.
you because you get everything handed to you on a silver platter and some cash. Like they really give you everything.
Yeah, and paper bag. Like, let's go. um, and something I really loved and am so intrigued about is you were selected to participate in with the WNBA star Kelsey Plum in her dog class in 2023, 24, 25. She's like one of my favorite players to watch. I think she's unreal, and I can't wait to watch her this season with the Sparks. But can you explain what was involved in this mentorship program? Because I think from the outsider, you're just like, oh yeah, that seems cool, but like, let's know a little bit about that. Because like for me, I'm like, this is epic.
Yeah, she's exactly who you see her on TV. Like she's been amazing. Once again, the day after the news broke, she called me and she was like, "I got a surgeon in LA." Like she's just so vulnerable and she wants to help that college pathway between college and the pros. But like, I got invited my first year after that Final Four, and it was her first year that she ever ran the camp.
Yeah,
Um, and every single year I've been there, like I've learned so much. Like she's so big on like, and obviously she went through, I think it was an Achilles tear herself. So like she's
yeah,
so big in movement prep, Pilates, the mental part of the game, like everything surrounding basketball that she does. She taught, like once again, she gave it to us. Are you going to take it or not? Because like she
yeah,
was actually teaching us a lot. And I don't know if people knew, but in those camps, like we have sessions, and she's there working out with us. So like we get to talk to her, like see how she approaches drills, and she just has that switch where she'll like talk to you, and then it's like killer, like she's just ready to go. Like she's amazing. I've been there for 3 years, and I think a cool part for me is like as I keep coming back, and I feel like I'm like an active input. Like they always ask for my input. Like, what do you want to learn about? What do you need? What can we change from this year? So I think like that's also amazing because she's like so down to learn as well. And it's not fake. It's not just like 3 day camp and you say bye.
Yeah.
You're still involved. I can probably like pick up my phone and text her right now and I would get a response. Like she's so down to earth and she's just so intentional with the sport. Like it seems like her whole life is just consumed with getting ready to play basketball, and I think that's so dope because she's amazing as a player, but she takes it so seriously. So it's like it's the balance. It makes you realize that if I want to be a pro, I have to do at least half of what she's doing.
Exactly. Honestly, it takes a lot, and I think people think we're just sipping pina coladas and like traveling places, and you're like, nah, man, like that ain't even the half of it.
It's not.
Like the
And the
highs
biggest
and
the biggest thing she said too is like whenever she has those endorsement deals or like the photo shoots or the Under Armour or whatever, she's like, I'm getting my workout in before. Like I can't
hundred.
start that day without. So it's like people don't see that with athletes. Like you have to work it around for sure.
Exactly. No, 100%. And I think one thing I want to ask is there was a quote that you said right after you were drafted, and about being smaller in stature compared to some others. But I feel like Plum is like the perfect example of she's smaller on court, but like for me, she has, I think, such a big heart and her play is unbelievable. Is there
Yeah,
any takeaways like, from her game that you're like, oh, I want to like box or like add to my game?
absolutely. And it's funny that you bring that up because the last camp before I saw her, before I headed to W camp, she was like talking to me and she was like, people are going to comment about your size all the time. They always say something about mine. Like,
Yeah.
what has it done? Because she's still out there averaging what like it's like what is the point? So it's really cool because she like we've had conversations about that, but just her emotional presence, her explosiveness, the way that she does those little skips where she's like increasing her height and then she like low to attack, like the change of height, change of pace, and just the demeanor that you just can't be messed with. Like it adds 4 inches to her height. So I definitely take things away from her.
Oh, well, I really enjoy that. And now that we've, spoken a bit about your college career, like now we're going into draft day or the lead up into it all. So we need to kick off your WNBA draft experience. So what was the week like leading into it? Because it honestly feels like like watching from socials. It's like a movie. Like it doesn't even seem real, let alone you being involved. You're probably like, "What is going on? Like, here's
Yeah.
my schedule. I have something every 10 minutes."
Yeah. So I started draft prep in Tampa. I was there for the Final Four. Went to like a few parties. I had an appearance. Like, why am I talking about appearances? Had an appearance at a dinner. I flew from Tampa to LA because I got fitted by Russ. So I went out
Yeah,
to his
I've got
brand.
questions about that.
I got fitted by him, and then that was like a 1 day thing. So I flew out to LA for a day. I flew back to Lexington for 1 day because I had to pack all my boxes up, and I had to ship them. I had to have them ready to ship to whatever team I was getting drafted to. Like I had no idea. But that 1 day in Lexington, I packed all my bags and I had 5 GM calls back to back to back, like that whole day. So from like
Yeah.
10 to I think it was 4, I was like on just calls where the GMs, the head coaches, the scouts are just like it's just like an hour long Zoom. And then I finally head to New York, and we get to the draft 3 days earlier. And the first 2 days are all these meetings. So the first day was the WNPA, so the Players Association. And you have players like NECA, Alicia Clark. Who else was there? Steph, my teammate, she was there. Steph Ngolson. You have people part of the PA just like running you down on, save you money. Like we fight for this. If you have any concerns, you have to stand up. Like the Players Association is for us,
Yeah.
because the WNBA just went through the CBA. Like you need the voices and you need the organizations to meet in the middle. The next day was just WNBA stuff, so it was like 12-hour meetings and a dinner, and then the draft morning, you go to the Empire State. It's so cute. You come back and from like 11 a.m. you start getting ready, and I had like maybe 5 or 6 cameras following me that day. And it was just like, you don't really have time to breathe, to think that your life is going to be changed. Like, everyone wants a piece of it, which is great. Goes back to that marketability point that I was making.
Yeah.
But it was just like such a blur of a weekend that I didn't feel centered until I literally sat down at that table. And I was like,
Yeah. Wow.
like, this is about to happen. Like, seeing my parents and my coach and like everyone's families, I was like, that's when I started like feeling my heart in my throat. So it's like the busiest weekend, but it kind of distracts you in the best way. And it's so cute though, because it was like all of us girls getting ready to get drafted, and like it's just like this cute moment where everyone's freaking out, but you're together and going through the same thing. And it was just so fun to watch everyone get drafted.
And you spoke about it, your outfit. Okay, so what was it like collaborating with like NBA star Russell Westbrook on your look, and just how did this come about?
Yeah, so he hit me in November. We had like a Zoom, and this was kind of, so the draft was in April, so he hit me in November, and as soon as they offered the opportunity, I was like, yeah, absolutely. I better not choke, and I better be invited to the damn draft. So like the whole couple of months, like we would send back and forth ideas. I told him like, I want a skirt, I want a cropped blazer. You go from there. I told him I want to wear loafers as well. So he took the fabric. He designed it. Obviously, they flew. He didn't because he was obviously in season. His team like flew to China to pick out the fabric, and then eventually like just had a couple more zooms and it came together. And as soon as he showed me the first sketch, I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, you don't need to act like, I'm giving you like the full permission to do whatever you want with
Yeah.
this outfit. And
Oh,
then, so the first time I actually like met him in person was at the draft, because when I went to LA to get fitted, like that's when his head coach got fired, so he had to leave to go and deal with that. But I met him at the draft for the first time, and he spent that morning with me, like dressing me, accessorizing me, like having inputs, taking photos. So he's so authentic. Like, he didn't even have to come to the draft and sit there, but he did, you know. And then like later
yeah.
we went out and celebrated, and he came. Like, we're at a hookah a lounge, and he's there. Like, he's
Love
real
that.
down to earth. It wasn't just like a fake, oh, wear my brand and get lost. It was like,
Yeah.
he was like so interactive, and he like, they dressed me for the whole weekend. We had business casual outfits and attires for all these like dinners and stuff, and they dressed me all for that. So it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was epic, and the look was fire.
Thank
So
you.
now, how was it walking down the orange carpet? And like you said, you're probably still in a bit of a whirlwind, but knowing one, okay, now I've got to pose for like all these photos in my get up, and then two, holy shit, like I think I'm about to get drafted. Like what is that mix of emotions like?
Like, I'm walking on the carpet, and first of all, you just have cameras and people's ask you questions, and you're like, let me not mess up and not say something stupid, or like let me lock in. Like, you really lock in on the orange carpet. That was, I can't even remember how long that was, but once I was done, then I went on the ESPN set and I did like a little thing with Russ right before the
Yeah.
draft. We're still doing media right up until Kathy walks out.
Wow.
I remember getting off the ESPN table, and I walked. I forgot who. I think it was Dejanay Carrington. I was like, "Can you please get me a wine?" So like, she got me a wine. I put that thing down and I went to my table because I was like, I just need to just have a moment where I'm like, "Whoa!" But yeah, the orange carpet is long, but it's quick because you want to get to the end because you just want to sit.
Yeah. Oh,
But it's just amazing. Like, as crazy as it is, like, you have to be so grateful for it because it's one of a kind. And I'm not one to
exactly.
pose either, so I'm there with my bag, like looking really awkward.
Hey, do I look cute? But did you have any idea what number you were getting picked? Like you just said earlier, hey, I spoke to 10 different GMs and head coaches. Did you have a vibe? Like, do you have someone on the phone? Like, what actually happened?
No, there's no one on the phone. So from those calls, I got a good feeling of, because my range, I saw myself anywhere mock drafts, and mind you, they're
Yeah.
so, but I saw myself anywhere from here to like third round. So I was like, I don't know what the hell to believe. I don't care, but I know from the calls that I had, what teams I felt good with, and I walked away from the Washington call being like, Yeah, I hope they pick me.
Yeah.
Like looking about who else was at the draft, and I knew that I had dinner with Kiki the night before, and she was also talking about how she was talking to Washington. And I'm like, well, they're not going to skip on you. They're not going to skip on you. And I was like, and they're not going to skip on Sony. So I was like, if the Washington Mystics are going to select me, it'll be at 6. So when like they were slowly rolling through it, and Sony went first, and Sony's table was next to me, I was like, okay, yeah, I knew
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Kiki happened, and then Golden State had that 5th pick, and they weren't a team that I talked to, but the cameras start coming to my table, and I was like, and then the pick went in, and it wasn't me, and the cameras are still at my table, and I'm like, oh, this has to be me. So I think
Yeah.
like, when I got picked, I didn't really have a like shock, because I kind of had that 5th pick to like sit through it and then come to terms with what might happen. So you know, but you don't. Like
Yeah.
the cameras are a dead giveaway because they just come rushing to you. But for a split second, I thought I was going to Golden State, which was crazy because I didn't even talk to them.
Yeah. And then what were your emotions when, one, your name is called, and then two, you're holding that jersey, taking a picture? What's going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I made sure to hug all the people at my table. I hugged them enough to the point where I heard like sniffles, and then I let go because you were not going to ball on me. I
Yeah.
have to get up. I have to get up. And then like you just walk through the table, and I'm just shaking, and like I still feel like my heart in my throat. And then just feeling that jersey is just insane. And you stand there, and there's so many people in that building, and it's like you don't really have the realization of how many people are watching you, whether it be on TV or in person. You're just like freaking out holding that jersey. And then you have to have an interview with Holly Rowe when she's always throwing in some type of stab, some type of joke. So you have to be prepared for that. But it's so surreal. Like I can't even like explain how I was feeling because it was such a unique feeling I've never experienced before.
On that, congratulations. Like, what an amazing experience. Like you said, once in a lifetime thing that would have happened.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can say or you can give us part of it, but what did you do that night to celebrate getting draft pick number 6?
Yeah, no, I was some fun. I mean, we went to the hookah lounge. My agent is Tisha. She played in the W for some time, and she's a legend. So we went. She was also representing another girl who ended up getting picked by the Sparks. So we both went to like this lounge area with our family. Just kind of had like cute family time, and then I went back to the hotel to go out again. And then they were like, the Mystics want to fly you out in a private jet tomorrow at 9. Are you guys good for that? And I was like, yeah, just let me pack. So I actually didn't end up going out more. I packed my whole room up because it was already like 2 a.m. And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm going to hop on a private jet. I'm not going to miss it. So
yeah.
my night started like this. And then it was like, okay, lock in, pack, get serious. And I cannot be hungover tomorrow in the facility.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact you got to go on a PJ, love that for you. Sweet.
It's insane. Like, and this is also when like talking to Kelsey about the experience, I was like, this is just like they're clearly trying to make progress in steps, because I was like, this
Yeah.
is not the WNBA everyone was talking about. Like, we've been treated better. I would use the word better because there's still like ways to go. But Kelsey was like, yeah, we crawled so y'all could run. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, pretty insane.
Great. Okay, like you said, now you're like, okay, I got to lock in. Like, okay, yeah, I've had a great night, but you've been drafted, and I guess this is where the real hard work begins. So, what was it like walking into your first training camp with the Washington Mystics?
You put that jersey on, and it's just crazy. Like, I was so lucky that I have Jade. She's amazing. She's been killing it. But just like I knew that I was going to get comfortable at some point, but just seeing how she's so unapologetically her and comfortable, I was like, okay, like I can relax. Like I'm here as a person, and I can relax as a person. Obviously, as a player, you got to, um, you know, try as hard as you can and do as much as you can. But it was so good to see her, because that duality, like instead of being tense all the time, like I did relax a little bit. But our head coach is obviously I'm not biased. I think he's amazing anyways, but he was like, when we're on the court, we're on the court. Like
Yeah.
100%, let's go. When we're off, be human. So I think like from the get go, I was like, okay, is this what the pros are like? But the sessions were tough, and if you watch the Mystics, like we play fast, we press, like it's a different style for sure, but it's like so exciting and fun. But you have to practice that. So
Yeah.
we were doing these drills and just like busting my ass, like gassed. And it was fun though, because it's like you're with pros. Like I'm with Slim, I'm with Steph, I'm with like these vets who have gone through so much and played, so many minutes, and are just amazing. I knew that I was in a lucky position, like with the team I had, the staff. To it was gonna be tough regardless, because it's camp and you're learning so
Yeah.
much. But it's like I knew that the people around me made it so much easier than the horror stories that you hear, like
Y-
in other places.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to ask, like, how was the organization and the girls with you knowing you're a rookie coming in? But also, I feel like it's hard because, like, yes, you're a rookie, but you also, like, you've got that hype around you as, like, it's sort of, it's not like, oh, you're a rookie that I don't know, you were maybe picked in, the third bit, like, I don't
Yeah.
really, like, yeah, whatever. Like, what is that like?
Yeah, you have like a split personality because it's like a lot of the athletes though, like in the W, like just even in Tampa, like I was having interact, like I was talking to Chelsea Gray. Like Chelsea Gray knew me before I went to the W, which is like
Yeah.
kind of crazy because it goes to your point, like you know of each other, but it's like I'm yet to prove anything playing wise, but it's different because you walk into a place and it's like, hey G, what's up? Like congrats. Like I didn't have anyone on this team who was scary or off-putting or intimidating, or you hear teams that are like, yeah, these girls will try and do this in practice to make sure that you like don't get a go or whatever. Never
Yeah.
had that, and I think it's just a credit to number one, like what the GM is doing in trying to like turn the culture. But I think just having a young core at the end of the day like helps so much. Like I think we have two great vets in Steph and Slim, but the rest of us are pretty much like the same age group, core group, and I think that helps a lot because it's like you have that chip on your shoulder where it's you're fighting, but it's like there's not really that hierarchy or that old school kind of I don't know how
No,
to explain it 'cause I've never
I
been
know
in
what you're talking about.
before. Um,
Yeah.
so once again, I got very lucky because I'm sure that there's other teams like that. Like there's just no way that there's not. But the Mystics were
So,
good.
and what does a day in the life of a training camp look like? Because obviously people know it's hectic, but what does a normal day look like?
Yeah, I mean, me, Sonia, and Kiki, because we were like the rookies. We would come in at about like 7:30, eat breakfast. We're affiliated with the Wizards, obviously, so our practice facilities like amazing. Like we get fed, like we get treated
So
very
good.
well. So we would come in, have breakfast, and then we would like do our prehabs, lifts, and our lifting is like much different than the college. Like I've taken that jump and it's just I can't even believe I was lifting the way I was in college. But we would spend like 30, 45 minutes movement prep, light lift, getting ready to practice, and then everyone like has like stacked movement preps. So we go first obviously because we're the rooks, but then like would watch team film, watch some individual film, and then we're all in the court together at about 11, 10:30, 11, and then from there is go time, and it's like you just lose time. It's like a time warp. And then after that, you go and get treatment. You could go and do cryotherapy or hop in the ice tub or I don't know, go get a massage or whatever you need. But the time just is like a vortex. So like from 7:30 to maybe I would say I would get back in my apartment at like 3:30.
Yeah,
Like
nuts.
you're in there doing something, whether it's like on the court, off the court, media, getting to know people. It's very intense for like a short amount
Intense.
of time. Like it's not. I'd rather do that than a 9 to 5. Trust me. But it's
Period. And then you spoke about Jade, our other fellow Aussie. What was it like just being with a fellow Aussie? I guess, did it give you that sense of just like, okay, I have a bit of home here.
yeah.
Also, like, you're my point guard. Like, were you sharing notes at training camp? Like, what was the vibe?
Yeah, no, I mean we're both point guards, so we're both like literally chopping it up on the sideline, and like she's like the nicest human ever. Anyone that's ever encountered her knows that. So it's like it felt like a collaboration, and that's my vet. Like as crazy as that
Yeah.
sounds, because growing up, I was the top age one and she was younger than me. But like she's been a pro for however many years and she's been in the league for 3 years. So like what she's doing is right. So I was just like picking her ear and just asking her questions because she clearly knows what's up. But it's just we kind of joked about it. Like anytime we joke or say some crazy stuff, like if no one else gets it, I know that Jade's gonna get it and
Yeah.
vice versa. But even when I did my ACL, I walked past her and I was like, Jade, I hope something's done because I screamed like a little wuss. And she thought that was the funniest thing because she was like, that's so Australian to say. Like, it's just a good little, I don't know. We can have like little side
So,
comments.
yeah, exactly. No.
Language.
Oh. And like you said, unfortunately, during training camp, honestly, I feel like everyone died a little bit inside. You tore your ACL, and I've torn both of mine as well. And I literally know what you're going through. It is the worst. And I don't know why, but I feel like it always happens at like the wrong time. Like you've just all this amazing stuff just happened to you and you're like, I'm ready for the next chapter, like let's go. And you're like me, we're people who work hard, we do everything by the book to get like the best out of ourselves. And I remember doing my first one after under 19 worlds, was finishing up at the AIS, had just signed my first WNBL contract, and I was like, bam. And you're like, oh, and let's call college like still your junior career. You're
It
now
is.
entering your senior career and you're like, honestly, this couldn't be worse. But like we sort of said, everything is supposed to happen for a reason, and it does make you so much stronger. It makes you, I guess, realize more even like the love for your game. But can you give us a little insight of just like when you did it, what, or like you said, well, clearly you're cracking jokes still, so you're okay. But what was your mental state when like literally this just happened?
Just exactly what you said. I was like laying there and like my everything just flashed before my eyes because I was like,
Yeah,
I'm a rookie. I haven't proved anything. Like it's a business, and I didn't think that the Mystics were like a bad organization. But you just hear those stories about, especially overseas. Like you're injured, that you're done.
so yeah,
So I think I was just kind of in a bit of shock. I didn't know. I didn't know until I honestly started getting more feedback and more communication from the people that matter within the organization, and that
yeah,
said a lot. Um, and I think just like the general feedback, it was like I'm here, I can rehab, I can do whatever I need, and that alone was a blessing enough because I didn't know what I was going to do. Um, but obviously I was upset. But as I said, I cracked the joke. But I'm just like, what's next? Like my
yeah,
mind instantly went into like I need to get better. I don't know. I didn't even know if it was torn or not because they were doing the tests and they were like, it doesn't really feel like it's slipping. So like I was honestly shocked when I had the MRI and it was like a confirmed tear.
so-
Um, but instantly I was like, I'm going to use this time to just become immune to like whatever it is. Like mentally so much stronger. I get to spend a year in the W, watching the games, being involved, learning the plays, learning how people tick. Like the way I'm rehabbing and prehabbing and lifting, that's pro shaped. Like I have a year to get ready for the W. Instead of having
yeah,
4 weeks, I now have a year. So it's like a make or take from it. I'll do it. It's only been 6 days since surgery, but it's like I'm so ready to just, it's my role now. Like everyone always says you have to adapt to your role. I don't think mine in my head was going to be an injured role, but it is. So I'm just
yeah,
going to make the most of it because I'm in a lucky situation. And if I like, it's okay to be sad about it. Like I love basketball so much, and it's made me realize that even more. But it's like shit. There's so many other opportunities that you can make, or like such a better position you can put yourself in. So I'm just excited to see myself in however many months, and just be like, no, I'm from the get go. I had that mindset, so I'm glad it paid off.
yeah. Well, you should be like so proud because having that mindset already, like you said, 6 days after surgery is
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. But I think it shows as well who you are, but your great support system in your family, your friends, even the organization and like the coaching staff. Like you obviously feel safe in what you're doing. I saw you in the preseason games with like your notebook and your pen. And I was like, okay, is this like, what are you writing down there? She's obviously the point guard. The point guard's back on it already.
uh-huh.
Can you give us a little insight to what GA is jotting down there?
I'm literally like, they were just so nice, and they're like, take notes, like from each quarter, have takeaways, whatever calls you can get, like focus on the play call. So it's like seeing the game through a different lens, really, like just trying to understand my teammates better, trying to understand who else in the league that I'm going to go up against eventually. Um, just like learning. So I'm really there just genuinely studying, and I'm still watching all the practice film, still watching the scout film, because it's like, it's up here. Like, as much as it is physical, even playing, it's so mental. And it's just like, that's the difference between a good 3-point shooter and a great one, is like what's upstairs.
Yeah.
So I have this time to train it, so let's do it.
And you literally just had surgery. Can you give us an update how that went? And also, like, what does, say, the next month look like for you now? Because obviously, like you mentioned, it's not even remotely what you thought was going to be happening in your first, few weeks at Washington.
Yeah, so they trained me up to New York, which was amazing because I got surgery at HSS. Dr. Riley Williams, he's really good. Came back here, and I pretty much started rehab like 3 days after. So it's been 6 days since surgery. I'm already at 90 degrees. I
Oh,
can already lift my leg. I'm
hey,
heel strike, toe push through. Like, I'm killing it. I'm not gonna lie. And I think once again, it's just the environment and the mindset I have is just helping that for sure. But once again, like as a pro athlete, the body's the investment, so it's like it should be that way. Like, but this next month, like I'm just excited to get my stitches out so I can tan, have a shower, not wear a brace, sit courtside, look fresh, look fly, still have my notepad. Um, just make the most of
honestly,
it every single
have
day.
having a shower like by yourself, because like my mother, I
Yeah,
accidentally yelled at her one time, and it was purely because I was like, I just want to wash myself in peace
yeah,
without anyone helping
you're
me.
vulnerable.
Yeah, like I'm a nudist as it is. Like I hate clothes, but I was like, I just I'm over it
Yep,
anyway. But I love that for you. Can't
yep,
wait, and we'll be checking the fits. Like it'll be on the socials. I can't wait to see what you rock up in.
absolutely.
Um, but we were talking off this a bit earlier about how just setting like short, small goals is actually so important. Like you said, like, hey, I can raise my leg. Like that is actually insane and something you can be like, tick. What's a couple that you have like right now for this next few weeks?
Yeah, I'm literally keeping a journal. And last night, because I was in bed and my blanket was messed up, and I couldn't flick my leg to change my blanket, so I was like, at the end of this week, I need to lift my leg. And like, not even 24 hours later, I'm in the training room this morning lifting it, and I literally was like, tick, like I
Tick.
literally physically ticked it. So it's for sure like the leg lifts. I want one crutch, like just one or none, because I'm sick of them. Um, Obviously, showering, getting my stitches out is one of them, but it's baby steps. Like, I think a big one too for me, and I think just female athletes in general, nutrition. Like, it's so easy to slip into that dark side. And I think
Mhm.
for now it's just like I'm prepping my body to rehab to get better. I need that. So I think that's like the overall goal right now, is that focusing on like, collagen, all the vitamins you need, or like the fiber, whatever you need to like, not just, I know I'm not working out. I don't really need to feel myself like that, but I need to feel
Yeah.
myself like I'm recovering. So it's a lot of things you don't think about too in that moment. Those are the little things that I start checking.
And I know it's only early days for you, but do you have any advice for any athletes who are either like going through an ACL injury or just a big injury in general? Is there anything like you could maybe give to them?
Yeah, I think in hindsight, this last year when I was at Kentucky, I spent so much time like just with a psychologist in general, trying to differentiate human Georgia and basketball Georgia. And I think now that this has happened, I couldn't have been more happy, because it's like I know a lot of my worth is in basketball and my involvement, but it's like I'm so happy with who I am as a person now. And that has honestly taken the load off a lot, because I'm not judging my worth based on points or impact or how many turnovers I had. Like, it's kind of
Period.
crazy to kind of put that aside and be like, no, I'm happy with who I am. Like, let me rehab. So I would say find your worth, find a worth outside of basketball. Because it helps even when you still play. Like, even if you're not injured, having a
Yeah.
worth is very beneficial.
And like you said, obviously your life has sort of been tipped upside down, and your first year in the WNBA is going to be a little different, but like you're so headstrong, and I think it's amazing just listening to you. Like I'm excited for what you're going to do off the court this season. But I guess what are you most looking forward to? Again, I know it's going to be a little different, but like what are you actually so pumped about for your first season in the W, because like you're still there, man. Like
Yeah,
it's still exciting.
yeah, I'm still so lucky to be here, but it's like seriously just being up close, watching the games. Like you get a whole nother feel. Even when I was traveling with the team pre-surgery and I wasn't playing, like the amount of people that would come up, wish me luck with surgery, like like we played against Indiana and Coach White is like wishing me good luck and everything. Like it's just like little things like those. Like it's such a community, so I'm so happy to still be in it and just like have those relationships where I can text Kelsey, where I can message Chelsea Gray, where I like Tamika Catchings is texted me. Like that's a WNBA legend right there. Like I'm
Yeah.
having all these people that I can talk to because she went through a surgery as well. Like I can keep going down the line. Like Sabrina Ionescu Instagram DM'd me. Like I just know that if I want to, I can learn from the greats because it's a kind of niche community, as cutthroat as it is to kind of be, picked up and cut and waved. Like I feel like once you have those connections, you can make the most of it. And I'm so lucky that this is where my life has come to
Yeah.
do that.
And there's been so much movement in the WNBA this season. Like I'm already loving watching the games because it's so different. Washington is obviously looking like a pretty different team. Like you said, you have a young core. You also have a new head coach. So you got your first win against Atlanta, 94-90, and then you followed it up with another dub a few days later against Connecticut, 90-85. So like this is huge for a new team to get two wins right off the bat. I know you haven't been at the games, but I'm sure you have like a team group chat. But
Yeah.
what's the team morale been with that? Because I can tell just from watching through the screen, like your team is tight.
Yeah. No, we really are. Like they're so amazing, and I think just everyone's bought in. We don't really have like a player or a person who's like their own superstar or just wants to go off the rails and do whatever. Like it's a very close bond, and it's been very intentional. Like, and it just goes to show everyone picked us last or said that we're in a rebuild or whatever. Which if you take a step back, it's what it looks like. But just like the feeling within is so strong, and our coach does an amazing job at rallying us together. And like as much as he does, like we don't even really need it sometimes because it's just like such close knit. Like, and you see that through the games. But even when I got injured, like I got a huge card from the team. Like everyone like
Love.
hugged me before surgery. Like you just feel it. Like it's doesn't really feel like any BS, to be honest. So it
Yeah.
helps you on the court, and you have that chip on your shoulder, and people doubt you. That it's just you want to just you have that little angst about it.
Yeah. And when can, I know you won't be playing on the court, but you'll be able to be there on the bench cheering your team on. When can the GA fans see you back on court looking fly with your notepad and pen?
Hopefully this week the team's back.
You.
We have Indiana and New York, so it's gonna be a good game. Say
Okay.
what's up, Sandy.
And then last question for me is, do you have any more advice for young female hoopers who have their eyes set on making the WNBA?
Yeah, you just have to make the most out of whatever situation you put into. Like, as long as you keep every single day, and it sounds cliche, but every single day take good things away from it, and like don't cheat yourself. You know when you're cheating yourself. I know you
Yeah,
know.
you
So
know.
do it. Like don't do it. Like and I know you like with the fitness and what's 5 more, 10 more crunches to you than a day. I see with your 12 pack. Like sometimes it's just that mental push.
Uh,
Like obviously have balance, but when you're doing it, do it and do it properly because
Amen.
that alone can just push you further.
I love that. Oh, well, Georgia, thank you so much for joining me today. Appreciate you, opening up and being vulnerable about this injury that literally you just got out of hospital and off a drip like 6 days ago. Like that, I really appreciate that, and giving us your WNBA insights as well. That was like super epic. So many people are going to love listening to this. But We can't wait to see you back on the court doing what you love. You know, all of Australia is behind you. So, wishing you the best of luck for your recovery.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And a big thanks to you, team, for joining me again today. So make sure you tune in next week as we talk things basketball all around the globe. It's a Cole world.